All right. Thank you, girls, so much for being on live. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us for this next level coaching social media call. And for those of you catching the recording, thank you so much. We put a lot of time and effort into sharing our best social media tips and just being able to spend time with you girls, talking about what's working, what's not working, and how can we best help you, because we're all learning together. So even though, like Deborah had just mentioned, that, try not to compare yourself, definitely. I'm just going to lead with that. Definitely don't compare yourself with where any other coaches are, because that will drive you nuts. They say, the thief of joy is comparison, right? And I am so guilty of that. In fact, I can tell you, last week I talked about Instagram stories and how I was going to dive into doing them. And I'd give myself about a C for the week and being consistent with that, to be completely honest. It's not something I can on by any means, but I definitely haven't given it my all. And a lot of the times I went in to do a story of my own, I watched a very successful coach, all of her stories, and just got like bogged down in comparison and it just wasn't a great mindset. And my success partner, I had to admit it to her yesterday, and she was like, just stop it. Don't go and look at anybody else's, just do your own thing. So let's start with that today. Today we're going to be talking about basics of social media, kind of bringing it back, not the basics, because this is next level coaching, but I feel we've definitely gotten into some heavier stuff when it comes to ads and ManyChat and all of these extra things in these Friday calls. And so Kim and I were talking, and we thought it would be really beneficial to kind of rewind and go back to what are the most important things we need to be doing on social media first and foremost, and really focusing on mastery over overload. Make sure you're doing these basic things first and foremost every single day to the best of your ability, as you add on the next level coaching stuff, because I think it's hard to go into that extra stuff if you don't already have that foundation, coaching 3 times a day and things like that. So with that, that's kind of where I want to start. Everything that I've been following as closely as I can, trainings on social media lately, from people who are doing it well, from people who are hosting national wake-up calls about social media topics, from people in the Beachbody Champions page who are having really great success with certain areas of social media, and trying to figure out what are the common themes of these people who are just killing it in the social media world. Because the way this job works for us, it's all about sharing our journey and sharing it well, and not being a billboard for Beachbody. Because if you're a billboard for Beachbody, you will repel people, unfortunately. When I got into this, I could post, I just did T25, who wants to do it with me? And I would have people say yes. But that was years ago, when there weren't as many MLMs and there weren't as many people using social media as free marketing. So nowadays, if you can imagine, I'm sure your news feed is full, just like mine is, with Rodan and Fields, LuLaRoe, Limelight, Beauty Counter. I mean, that's just 4 randomly I thought off the top of my head. And I think I've been to a party for each one of those just this week alone. So really finding your own voice in social media. And again, I know that this is next level coaching stuff, and I'm bringing it way back to the basics, but it's something that I have to remind myself of weekly, sometimes daily. When I go to make a post, what is my goal with this post? And one thing, if you guys are taking notes today, I want you to write down, one thing I've been hearing a lot about is, rather than feeling like you need to post just to get a post out there, get something out there for your affinity or whatever, make sure it's a good post that's adding value, that's engaging your audience. So even if you're doing one of those posts where you're literally trying to get people to simply engage with you, that is adding value, in that they're going to talk to you throughout the day. You're going to get to know somebody a little bit better through whatever their response is on your post, or a value added post where you're not just saying, yay me, I worked out today, but you're talking about the struggles you had for that morning workout. You're describing the workout without saying exactly what it was. You're talking about how your challenge group is the reason you decided to show up today, because everything in your house, in your mind, was telling you don't do it, press snooze and sleep in. Those are the stories that you need to be telling every day without being a walking Beachbody billboard. I loved the National Wake Up Call this week. If you didn't listen to it, definitely go listen to it. It was by a coach who has seen mega success in this last year thanks to Social Team Builder, which is one of the paid social media trainings that Kim and I, as well as a couple other coaches on the team, are in. And the fact that we've heard so many success stories from so many coaches just makes me on fire for digging in even more to that training so that I can get to that tipping point in my own business. And that's what I want for you guys too. And that's the point of these calls, is to help bring that information to you guys so that you reach that tipping point of you're telling your story so well that you're spending less time sending out 10, 15 invites a day trying to find people, but these people are coming to you, and your inbox is just full of people who are like you, who want to work with you. That is the vision that I have for our team across the board, and every single person who joins, that your story will personally reach other people's lives and they will want to join you. And it all starts with really good storytelling. And take it from me, I don't feel like I have the gift of writing. I don't feel like I'm well written. I don't feel like I am very, what's the word? Not very crafty. I'm not very, when I look at my avatar, I don't feel like I'm unique or that I stand out. But just this week, really focusing in on the tips that I learned from the National Wake Up Call on when you make a post, you start with telling a story, and it doesn't always have to be your whole story. Like, I don't always tell my whole story of how much weight I lost twice and 2 pregnancies and blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Beachbody. A part of your story. I remember one of my best live videos ever. I told a story that I still carry with me to this day about being in 7th grade and a girl saying something not nice to me about my weight. And I got such a response from it, and so many people saying, oh my gosh, I totally can relate to that. And of course, after you tell whatever the story is, you're following it up with a question to engage. Like, have you ever felt that way? What did you do if you ever found yourself in that situation? Something that pertains to the story that you just told, you're trying to pull out from your audience their reaction and their engagement and their thoughts on their own life, their own reflection, so that they engage with you and it becomes more personal. And then you're following it up with, you know what? I've found something that works, that totally rocked my world and changed my life, and I would love to share it with you. So it's like a soft invite, however you want to word that. It's a soft invite into, you have something to offer. You told a story that, a pain point that won't be the same exact story as the people you're talking to, but they'll be able to relate. Then you're basically asking them, can you relate? And how was that, what happened to you? And then you're following it up with, look, I have this solution sitting right here. And the best part is I get to give it to people. So I loved that formula that she summed it up that way. And the main bulk of these paid trainings is talking about value, adding value to people's life, like I was saying. So the way that Ashley on the National Wake Up Call described that formula she used when she posts made a lot of sense to me. I'm sure you could think of tons of stories in your own personal life that you can relate back to how you got to Beachbody. And sharing that is going to have other moms, other women, other people out there watching you go, oh my gosh, I need to talk to her because she had that time in her life and I had something similar happen to me, and I need to know what she did, what she's doing that's making her feel so much better, So I want to encourage you guys for your homework this week, write down, what did she call it? Something web. She wrote in the National Wake Up Call, she talked about this web of ideas, of pain points that she's experienced, struggles, the struggle web, that's what it was, her struggle web of things that she struggled with. So when she's struggling with writing a post, she can just go look at that and tell a story based off all of these ideas she already has written down in her struggle web. And what she's found is that so many people are relating in some way and now are attracted to her and want to work with her as a coach. I just felt like it was a really great way to sum up all of this stuff I've been hearing about adding value to your page. And the other thing I noticed, anytime I hear of a coach who's doing really well on social media, I like to go to their page, and this is where it's hard to not compare. And I have to try to put my blinders on, like research mode. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi.
And just look at it from a standpoint of, I learned all of this about this person. It's working really well for her. What is she doing that's working so well? So in Ashley's case, I was trying to look for a pattern in her posts. Like, is she going live every single day? Is she posting a certain number of times a day? Is she posting at certain times? Because when I first learned about social media tips, a lot of it had to do with time of the day of the week, posting just as much as you can. And I feel like things have really changed from that. Yes, you still need to post frequently and consistently, without a doubt. But what I've noticed is that if your content's good, that speaks volumes. I noticed that she goes live, she said 4 times a week on the National Wake Up Call, but when I scrolled through her last couple of weeks, it was more like 1 to 2. So if you're like me and you're having a hard time going live every day, like every week, every Sunday, I tell myself, I'm going to go live every day this week. And I go live like twice. Like, I kind of need to own that and just go, live's not my forte. I'm not getting a lot of engagement on it. I'm still uncomfortable doing it. I still need to push myself out of my comfort zone and do it because it's important and it does reach a certain amount of people. But forcing myself to try to come up with something great to say isn't adding value to my page. So if I have 2 videos a week that are really good, or better at least, and I, jacked up excited to talk about something specific, I'd rather do that than try to just talk about something just because I feel like I should be doing a live video every day. So think about things like this. What are your strengths? What do you need to continue to work on? Because as coaches, we're constantly striving to push ourselves to be better and try harder and push ourselves out of our comfort zone. But also, where are you doing better? Like, I feel like I'm getting to be a better storyteller rather than telling my whole story in posts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've taken into account what I've been learning from these other coaches on bringing it down to little itty bitty stories of my life that I can relate to this big, exciting Beachbody thing that I do now, rather than always telling the whole story. Because from somebody sitting on the other side of the computer or on the other side of their phone, my whole story of what's happened in the last 4 years could be pretty overwhelming. I lost 30 pounds twice. I had 2 babies, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of life to just throw into one post. Be like, do this with me. You could do this too. But if you pick one story out of your journey so far and tell that story very descriptively, how you felt versus how you feel now, people will go, oh my gosh, I remember standing in a dressing room just yesterday trying on 4 different dresses to go to a wedding and none of them fit. And I don't ever want to feel like that again. And she just talked about that. And now she's in a wedding next week and she feels fabulous. Like, think about that. It's little subtle stories. It doesn't always have to be your entire transformation in one post, but they need to be frequent. They need to be, breadcrumbed all throughout your week. So what I've been doing is trying to tell those little stories a little bit more here and there in my morning posts after my workouts, and then also scattered into what were more in my time slots, if you will, of calls to action. So I've gotten away a little bit from doing calls to action for my groups. And this is just me personally. I know that Kim and Brittany specifically have really great success with those sort of calls to action where they do a super cute picture of themselves. And then on the other side of the picture, it's like, you're going to get accountability and meal plans, stuff like that. I noticed every time over the last couple of months when I was doing posts like that, they were totally wahs for me. And I think it's just the way I branded myself. I think it's just me. I always joke on these calls every Friday, like, I wish I could just channel Kim and like sprinkle her on me every morning. And, and that's just not me, and that's okay. So I have to do what I do better. And I realize that my posts that are more soft calls to action, where I'm telling that story and I'm engaging them, and then I'm following it up with like, dude, you could do this with me. Let me help you. Rather than, I have a group starting next week, get your spot. It's working better for me. So along with your struggle webs that I want you guys to make this week, I also want you to really reflect on who you are. Where are your strengths in social media? And I'm not talking, is it on Facebook or Instagram? I'm talking you. Where is your voice? And I want you to focus there, but I also want you to challenge yourself. So if you can relate to me when it comes to live videos, you still need to be going live. But don't try to go live every day if it's not your forte. Because again, then you'll be like my few weeks in there where I went live almost every day and I just felt like a scattered mess, and it didn't seem like it was paying off. So I hope that those tips so far were helpful. I'd like to open it up for questions and just kind of pause here, and then I have a little bit more to talk about. And of course, if Kim has anything. And Deborah, I'm sorry, I can unmute. I muted you when you were blow drying your hair, but I just unmuted
it. That's fine. I'm glad that you did.
Do you guys have any questions so far or comments or?
I find that when you're going live, something that really helps me. Am I on? I'm good, right? Okay.
Hayden, I'll be right back.
Is something that's, because I have been going live every morning on my fitness page. I don't actually go live there. I don't remember the last time I went live in my, whoa, aggressive window. Oh my gosh. This is why I don't go live. Just kidding. Wow. Hi, Wins. Okay, really though? Why? I don't even understand why you're not. Sorry. Here we go. On Friday, I mean, on any day, I will. So if I do my devotional and then I go on Pinterest and I find a quote, I usually just live there. And I just live on that quote. I go off of like how I'm feeling, what's working, and I just go live on that specific subject, or I like think about a conversation I had the day before. And I think that the goal of going live isn't to go for like 4 hours. I think that's what a lot of people think is going to happen. But that's, I think, if we can learn that it is so much less than that, and we can just kind of go live, be real about, I think this is like so, what's the word I'm looking for? So pertinent, because people see who you are. They feel who you are. They see like, because in some photo, I might just look like this, girl with no brain, or I don't know, maybe I don't look like that, but usually most people with blonde hair is kind of the stigma. So especially long Barbie like hair. So unfortunately that's just sort of what people think. So I like to think of it as like, okay, it's my chance to like prove a point and really show people that there's so much more than blank, blank, blank. And so I think I don't ever actually think about going live. I just go live. And I know that might sound weird, but I feel like it gets me less out of my head and more of like my heart and what I want to say. So that's all my 2 cents worth on going live. And FYI, Andy, you missed me getting hit by my window. So shocking. Story of my life. These Fridays are all about trial and error.
Oh my gosh. What do you mean you got hit by your window? What am I?
These panels open and a big gust of wind just opened and like,
Oh my God.
yeah,
So I would love to hear, where are you guys at with everything that's been taught in the last few weeks? What have you implemented? Let's just start with that. What have you implemented, and give it to us straight?
I only made 1 ad so far, but I like it. I haven't gotten much engagement on it, but I've gotten a bunch of new likes. I usually, it's right around 20 cents per like 20 cents per like. So I want to try to get it down. But I haven't done, I did 1 and then that was it. So I want to actually do more, like a few. I got stuck on the idea of, Kim, I really like your mini chat idea of starting like kind of my own group. I got really stuck on what to call it. and I've been kind of stuck there. My huge goal for January that I'm just like pushing is like I have to get to Diamond. I have to make that happen. So I really need to be focusing more on sharing what coaching has done for me, and inviting more coaches. I say I'm going to do it. I'm like, I'm going to invite like 3 people a day to coaching, and then it's like 3 people a month that I'm inviting. So I need to really be more intentional about seeking those people out and trying to like attract them. But I can't do that if I only share like once a month about being a Beachbody coach. So I think what I'm going to do I don't know how to implement that in my fitness page as much. Kim, I like how you do it. Like I like your coach sneak peeks that you do in your like in your fitness page. I think I'm going to try to do more about that. But yeah, that's just where I'm at. I just need to invite more. I just need to get some more people who are like me.
So a couple things. I feel like the coach sneak peeks that we've been running are going really well, Kim, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I know you and Brittany hosted the one this week, but we have all teamed up to do coach sneak peeks basically every other Monday at random times, depending on whatever time works best for the coaches who are running it. And our idea is that it'll be different coaches every couple of weeks. So there's multiple stories in there, and we're going live, zooming live into the Facebook group. So anybody that was invited last month will stay in there. And it's also been a great tool this week. Specifically, I've noticed a lot of coaches adding people to the group and tagging them in specific videos, because some videos I feel like touch more on, depending who is telling stories. Shayna always does a really good job talking about the money side of things, because she was so broke when she signed up and needed it financially. I was in a conversation this week with someone who join our team, and that's her biggest hang up is I don't even have money to buy a challenge pack. So I said, I'm going to show you this video and it's going to speak to you. And I tagged her, I added her to the group, and I tagged her under that specific video. And I said, listen to all of our stories about how coaching has changed her life, but I want you to focus on the coach Shayna, because I think her story will speak to you. And just today, she said she watched it. She ended up watching all of them, and she's so excited to join the team. And she's signing up today. I think it's powerful to have so many different stories in there from different coaches and also different angles, because we're breaking it up. Like, Kim, you're going to tell your story tonight, but your topic or your objection is going to be focused on this. So as Kim's telling her story, she's kind of focusing on one main component or two or whatever about coaching. And I think it's going really well. I'd love to hear, Kim, your thoughts on that. But my other thought on recruiting is 99% of the time, every single challenger, I ask them to coach in one way or another. I build them up. Week 1, you're doing great. You could totally do what I'm doing. And then I just slip it in, have you ever thought of it? I open the conversation right away, week 1 of the challenge group. And I know that you consistently hit Success Club. So right there are your coaches. Sorry. Okay, Kim, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the sneak.
No, I think that there's a ton of value in just having it. Oh, sorry. I think there's a lot of value when you can go back in and see, what it is. My only fear, like there's already been like 4 in there, I think, or 5. Is like 4. I mean, I guess the people just leave that want to leave, right?
Sorry, I'm not too worried about that, because I just figure He's on the couch. So sorry. He normally sleeps till 1. I think that people will leave if they want to leave. And my hope is that anybody who's adding people is continuing to talk to the people behind the scenes. So people aren't just getting added 4 months ago and seeing these videos every other week like, gosh, this is annoying. Like, hopefully they're talking to them,
Right.
And maybe that's something that we could reiterate in the team pages. Like, if you've ever added somebody to this group, you need to follow up with them every couple weeks and let them know, hey, there's going to be another video tonight. If you're into it, great. This is what time it's going to be at. If not, I don't want you to be bothered by this. So feel free, or something to that effect, whatever they're comfortable with.
Totally. And I think that there is, maybe even letting them know hey, FYI, I just want you to know, because you are in this group, but we're going to be we're going to be hosting another one tonight. So it's going to be new speakers, this specific speaker. And maybe we can do a better job, Andy, of letting people know, like, oh, this week, you know, the speaker that is speaking is talking about money, as they, you know, that was a hang up for them, or I don't know, whatever.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, but I think it's good. I think any collaboration, I feel like when we hosted that, what is a coach, why do you need a coach, and what is a challenge group? Is that what it's called? Something along those lines. And, you know, the video itself, it may or may not have been the most successful, in the sense that I think I sold 5 challenge packs, which I guess to me is pretty successful, like that. And I signed a coach. So to me, that's like a win. But I think that what people saw was extreme community. Like, it was just like raging community. Cause not only that, but then like people were commenting on people that never knew people. And like, there's up to like almost 400 views on that video. And even if 400 people don't buy a challenge pack, that's 400 people who are hearing about what our community is and why it is so different. And there is a huge value in that. So I think, you know, I don't know if it was the excitement of the first one and that's why it was so effective, but I definitely think that it's something we should think about continuing in the future. And it was easy. You know what I mean? Like, now that the PowerPoint is created, you just plop in, you know, I think the only thing we would change is like we would take out we had too many transformations and it just got really long, but we would just take out a couple and away we go.
Absolutely. And that's one of the feedback I've heard from coaches that I've signed through this sneak peek, is just wanting to be a part of the team, because they're in that community with so many of us in there and so many different people sharing stories and, you know, mentioning who their coach is, mentioning about going on trips or whatever. Like, that huge sense of community is great. The other thing, Allie, that I was going to say, a way for you to get in a habit, I know for me, if I'm going to implement something new, I need it on my calendar and I need to commit that I'm going to do it every week at such and such time, or every day at such and such time. So in terms of how are you going to talk about coaching more, I want to give you a specific plan. One thing I pulled from a national wake up call a couple weeks ago was Thursdays are payday. So subtly talking about what you did with your Beachbody paycheck every Thursday. And it's not, hey, I got paid today and I filled up my gas tank, you know, but whatever it is, in a subtle way, talking about how Beachbody's blessed you, because you can totally elaborate on that. And it just gives you a good system for talking about that every single week. And you could talk, because it's payday, you could talk about the money side of things, and you could also add in the community side of things. Or you could also add in whatever made you feel great this week because of coaching. But that'll get you in the habit of talking about it at least once a week.
I think that will really help.
I like Sunday too. I have Sunday nights become my coaching night. I think because it's like that, you're going into a work week and why you're excited about Monday versus why you hate it, I think is very, and even if you work still, you still have excitement for the week because of the community that you're in. So I think sometimes we get stuck because you're like, well, I don't not work, or I don't, you know, I like my Monday, I still go to work. Like, it's not, you know, it doesn't change, but what does change is like the newness of a week. And I think that you can really shine brightly that your life is different because of Beachbody in those moments. So.
Absolutely.
I've been telling people too, because I messaged so many people about the info thing, and I got a lot of people who were interested in watching it. I think a lot of people were motivated by the $100 gift card. But I found that just telling people, I just tell them that if they watch to the end and tell me the code word, I'm going to enter them in a $10 gift card. They are still very motivated by that. So that's fine with me. I'm like, I'll pay you $10 if you want to watch it, but I just tell them that I'll enter them. So I've had a lot of people who've been like, oh, I missed it. And I'm like, you can still watch because I like having it there. So.
Yeah. This last challenge group, I gave out the Target, the Halloween jack-o'-lantern tank top, because it was only $12.99 with it's $12.99 with and then with your red card, it's free shipping. So, I mean, it's $12.99 versus the $70 you make off commission. I actually even asked some of my return Shakeology customers if I could use them in my preview challenge group and say, like, you know, basically And look who else is committed and got a tank top. And then I just sent them a tank top thanking them for being continued clients, because they've purchased Shakeology for the last 5 months or something like that. So I think that's something I'm going to do more, because there is such value in keeping people on Shakeology for their own health benefits. So I'm going to try to do more of like paying attention to who are my HDs and then sending them something like let's be real, like maybe I just pick somebody and throughout a year, everybody gets covered. You know what I mean? But I think that that's such a sweet thing to get in the mail. Like I have one girl who she never responds to any message, but she orders at least one bag a month, every single month. And I know her really well. I actually went to premarital with her and her husband. And it's so weird that she never responds to me, but every month I can she's there. And so I'm like, I should just send her something. If she won't respond to my messages, it's fine. I know her enough. Like she would love a book about parenting and Jesus. So let's just go ahead and send that, just something subtle. So I think that people are really derived by gifts a lot. I think we all want to pretend like we don't need gifts, but I think people really like them. And I think people really like getting mail. So, or work with your LuLaRoe vendor. I have 3 girls. One is my cousin and 2 are my best friends. They'll give me LuLaRoe leggings for $10. You know what I mean? And they can ship them from their account, which then they win too. It's just, there's so many partnerships out there, that you can work with.
I love those ideas. Definitely. Yeah, I've definitely tapped into the Target tank tops using my red card to ship them.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Deborah, how are you feeling with things?
I am slower than all of you. And that's why I watch. I'm so committed to watching, because I'm learning. This is the kind of learning that I do, and I gather the information. I'm excited about, as you can tell from the UK launch, because I have close friends over there. I consider them my family. And I know they're all going to this place called Slim World, and it's hard for them to get there. So I am looking at how I can sign them as coaches, because I know that they're all on, it's going to be all like everybody, because I've asked many people here to be coaches, and it's always about the money, and even, I researched it and I have to pay this much and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but it pays for itself. And that's where I get the stoppage. It's all about the money, which I hate. But anyways, so I'm trying to see how I can be very sensitive to that, but get them on board with this, and just excitement because of the change that this has brought to my life. And that's what I want for them. So that's where I'm leading to. But I struggle with social media. I'm still trying to figure out how to do a fitness page, and because I don't want to be cheesy. That's my biggest thing. I think it's just being able to say, step out of my head and go, I'm reading a book called Get Over Your Damn Self. And, it's that's what I really need to do, is just get over it and just jump and do it. But
yeah, you said it. I read that book at the beginning of this year, and it's so true. I think that trips up a lot of people, but if you just remember in your heart of hearts, not everybody's going to be attracted to what you're doing, but the people who are going to love it and thank you and be so grateful for you. And so you have to focus on that and not the people who aren't going to jive with you, because that's just the world we live in. And just be you on your page. If you're worried about being cheesy, you won't be cheesy. You'll just come across as Deborah, And I would definitely lead with your friends with, just like you said, be so confident in what you have to offer as a coach and what coaching has to offer and how it's changed your life. And, talking to them about what's not working right now, about how hard it is to get to Slim for Life or whatever it's called. Acknowledging that you won't have to go there. And this is so much easier. And on top of that, talking about how it just came to the UK. So they would basically be, founding coaches in the UK, which I think Carrie Spirit would be pretty rad, right?
I actually have a question. Are they signing up under coaches?
Yeah. They're not really, as far as I know, I don't think there's anybody I don't think you can just sign up.
So how do they decide that? I was curious, because I'm like, did all the top coaches just get the 817 coaches that just signed up? Because that's how many Carl posted yesterday.
I think so.
So I'm like, where did they all go? Who did they just sign with?
Jatana Jackson. I'm not kidding. Do not go watch her Instagram story. It'll drive you crazy.
Not today.
Don't do
I
it.
don't follow her. I don't follow
Good.
her.
See, I need to stop. Shayna told me yesterday, stop it. Because I kept voice moving her like, did you see this and that? So, okay, side note, sorry. This is what I think's going on. I don't think that Beachbody has made, and I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, they have not made founding coaches over there. And it really doesn't matter because Beachbody is not a pyramid, and it doesn't matter whether you have an upline or not, really. But to my knowledge, they're not doing that because that would be different structurally to the whole network, and we're all one big network. So what I've seen from coaches who went there, they're calling the coaches that they signed up founding coaches because they're the first coaches in the UK to sign up, but they're still under a coach somewhere. So I just threw that word out there and opened up this whole can of worms, but it doesn't really, they're just a coach like you and I. But what founding coach means to me in my head that I think would be valuable if you have friends over there is right now, there's still millions of people for us to help here in the United States. In the UK, there's 800 coaches out of how many millions of people are there in total. So you have a massive network of people whose Facebooks aren't inundated with Beachbody coaches yet, you know? That's pretty rad. That's pretty exciting. So that's what I meant by my comment.
No, I know what you meant. I was just curious. I'm like, did they get like a printout, like headshots? And they're like, go ahead and pick. who do you want to sign?
Produced of them all.
Go on to Insta stories and look at who you like best. Oh, Jatana Jackson. Got it. Okay, bye.
Don't watch, I'm telling you. Because I just sat in a funk all day yesterday and then only did one story because I just kept thinking,
I know, I went to watch your stories and you didn't have any.
hey, find all this, like, it's so not healthy, you guys. Don't do that. Learn from my mistake this week. Blinders on, do you. I am not Jatana Jackson. And I'm not even in the UK, so me sitting over here acting grumpy, like, I could have gone. I mean, that would have been really hard, but it had nothing to do with her. Okay, rant over.
But Deborah, I think that's like such an important thing to know because like I don't like watching any of her stories because she doesn't appeal to me. She's not who I'm attracted to, but she's a super successful coach because a lot of people are, and that's okay. But if she never did any of what she did and shared who she was because she was worried about me not liking her, then she wouldn't be successful. So she just shared who she is. I don't love it, but a lot of other people do.
And I know who she is, so
No, but you know
guys
what?
are you guys
You know what's so true, Deborah, is that there, and I tell this, I don't have very many coaches that are what would you call 40 plus coaches? 40, are you 40? You're 40, right? You in your 40s?
Me?
Deborah?
Oh,
no, I'm in my 50s.
Oh.
oh my gosh, you look so great.
Amazing.
No, I just turned 50.
Oh, that's right. You just turned 50. Okay. So and I feel like it's like, Carol, there's this niche of women, and I have to tell you that there is something to be tapped into there because listening to women, I mean, it's like lots are going through menopause, and what rebuttals that is like exercise and healthy diet. And so I feel like you have such your own niche, and like following what we're doing, well, we're just trying to get over being, feeding our babies is, totally different. And so I think that it's preaching to that segment of people and saying like, I'm not having these symptoms. And that is going to be your strength. And it's just like the chick that's blowing up in Social Team Builder, or not in the other one. That's the diabetic. Like, she's very overweight still, but because her story is that she is combating diabetes with a healthy lifestyle, people are like, well, I want to do that. I just don't want to lose my leg. Like, I can't even begin to get on that level. I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not my reality, but she can, and she's going to be more she's going to be able to speak into that way more than somebody else. And so I just think that you have to play into exactly who you are and why it's helped you. And I know that this has helped you in so many ways because it's obvious in your own personality, in your smile, all of it. And so people in your life are going to see that, and they'll just take time to join. And you're slow moving on social media, that's okay because that's you. Do you know what I mean? It's me to be outgoing and be like, hey, want to watch me do my hair today? Hey, want to look at my outfit? Why? Because that's just who I am. That's what I speak into. But that's not pretending, trying to be somebody else. I feel like I learned very early on is never going to work in this business. You know what I mean?
Never.
So
I am so sorry, ladies. It's short week, and I have to get my kids in 5 minutes. I told Kim, let me take this one this week, and I bombed. So I'm sorry. I hope I offered some value in the beginning of the call, but if I don't go, then they'll get sent to the principal's office, and I'll be that mom.
wow, that's intense.
Well, not to the principal's office, but they'll take them in the office and call me, and I'll be that mom that has to get the phone call with the kids standing. You know what I mean.
Got it.
Anyways, thank you, girls, for being on. Love you. Oh shoot, I'm the one recording.
It's okay. You're fine. Sign off.
When you will it stop the recording then?
Yeah. Just stop recording. You're fine.
Okay. Sorry.
We'll say goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll download and put this in the team pages.
Bye.